Hello everyone. In today's video, I am going to be giving you an update about an issue that I am having with my ecoflow Delta Pro Ultra. So I purchased an inverter and 2 batteries in April of 2024. I had the inverter and 3 batteries because I had bought another one before it was all installed in June of 2024. So in June of 2024, I started running my house 50% off grid. Then by October of 2024, I still had the inverter and 3 batteries, and I was pretty much running my house almost off grid 100% at that point, okay? So let's fast forward to today in May. So now I had purchased 2 more batteries about a month ago when Home Depot had them on sale for $1,500. I added 2 more, so now I have 5 batteries and an inverter. So it's been about a month, and I've been getting ready to do my 1-year update of off-grid with this unit, and I was going to tell you the pros and cons. But my inverter stopped working. It's actually still functioning, but what stopped working on it is the high voltage input where you plug in your high voltage solar array to your inverter and it charges your batteries. So that stopped working for me on May 8th. And I'm going to go over how ecoflow has handled this issue with me so far, okay? Okay, so let's refresh our memories of what this inverter can handle and what you can connect to it. Okay, I have one, so I have 7,200 watts of power. All right, so with a high voltage input, I have 10 panels that are 370 watts. And for my low voltage input, I have 3 solar panels that are 370 watts. Pictured here is the input data from my inverter log off the app for ecoflow. At 11:59 a.m., the inverter stopped accepting the high voltage input from my whole high voltage solar array, but it does continue charging the batteries using the low voltage input. All right, so after noticing there was an issue with my inverter and it not charging my batteries as it should, I decided I need to inspect everything on my side before I call ecoflow for help. Maybe it's something simple that I can fix, and so this is what I did. I inspected all of my solar panels from top to bottom, front to back. They're ground mounted, so it's very easy for me to inspect and look everything over. Everything is in perfect condition. I inspected all of the wiring and the MC4 connectors. I felt every one to make sure they were all properly connected and everything was in great order, and it is. I inspected all of the conduit pipe. I inspected both of my 30 amp cutoff breakers for each array, perfect working order. I inspected all of the wiring and the connections inside my house. So everything going from the system to the transfer switch to the hub, everything. Coming in the house, all the connections, all of the wiring looked great. So what I did is I shut down the system and I restarted it. I disconnected the high voltage array from the inverter, and then I decided, well, let's see, because the low voltage array is working and it's collecting power to the batteries, so let me plug the low voltage array into the high voltage input on the inverter and see if it's collecting power, because if it is, then it's got to be something to do with my high voltage array, and I need to look at it even better. but there was nothing. It didn't collect anything. It didn't even register. So when I plugged it back into the low voltage, it was collecting like 1100 watts. But like I said, when I plugged it into the high voltage, that small array of panels, it didn't collect anything. Okay, so then I checked my firmware. I said, well, maybe I need an update. Okay, I checked it and I did. I needed an update, so I updated it. Then I looked up the serial number for the inverter, my order date that I purchased it, my order number before I called customer service. All right, so after explaining all of the troubleshooting steps that I did to the customer service rep at ecoflow, he said I needed to try and do a hard reset and see if that works. If that doesn't work, then I needed to do a SOC, which was a depletion of my batteries, and see if that would reset. And if that didn't work, then to call them back. And that's what I did today. But let's go over how you do your hard reset. So before I remove the power cords or anything, I powered the unit off. Okay? I don't connect or disconnect anything to the unit unless it is in the off position only. Okay? So I turned it off and I removed the power input for the solar arrays, the high voltage and low voltage, and then I also disconnected the cord that goes from the inverter to the 50 amp hub. Then I powered it back up. Then I pressed and held the power button for 10 seconds to turn it off. And then I turned off the inverter and let it sit for 2 hours. He said to let it sit. Then before I turned it back on, I hooked up the solar arrays and I hooked up the 50 amp cord again, because remember, we want to do that while it's off. After it's all connected, I went ahead and powered it back up after 2 hours of rest, and then I turned on my high voltage to see if it worked, and it didn't. So he said if it doesn't work, then we need to deplete the batteries completely and try it again. So I ran all of the ACs in the house. I ran everything, and it took till the next morning to get down to 0% on the battery. So once I got 0% on the battery, I powered it back up. I held the button for 10 seconds. I let it power up, and then I tried it again. So I turned on the high voltage, and it didn't work. But I did get an error message that said 46, and then there was a little space and a 1. So after I knew it wasn't going to work, I went ahead and called ecoflow again on May 13, 2025. And I told the customer service lady everything that I did the day before. I had to give her all of my information again. For some reason, ecoflow doesn't seem to type these things down, and it is a little bit frustrating for the customer when I have to keep repeating the serial number, the purchase date, and everything. I mean, come on, guys. Are you guys typing this in or not? I'm already under enough stress. I don't need to have to rehash things I already gave you the day before. Anyways, I apologized to her because I felt very frustrated when she kept asking me the same questions. And I kind of feel like they're just trying to give me the runaround. I did everything they asked me to do, and now I expect them to hold up their end of the bargain, which is my 5-year warranty. I think there's something wrong with the inverter, okay? And they need to either fix it or replace it and not take months to do it. I need it done ASAP. I run my house off my batteries 24/7. So right now, I'm not doing that. All right. So she said that I should hear back from the back office team within 2 business days. And as of making this video, I have not heard anything yet. When I do hear, I will give you an update. All right, guys, so it's the next day. The battery has been depleted to 0%. I've already restarted the inverter, Now I'm going to see if it will allow solar to be input. Turning on the switch on the side of the inverter. That's what you heard. Now we are going to try the high voltage solar. See if it reads it. Okay, so it's coming up here. See the little solar panel with the H? Still not working. Look. So pictured here is a screenshot of the error message that I got when I turned the high voltage solar array on when it was plugged into the inverter. So when I first turned it on, as you can see in the video, the screen, there is no error message. And then after a few seconds, the error message pops up. And then after a few more seconds, the error message will disappear. I'm not sure what's going on with this inverter or what the error message means.
Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel. Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel.